Hello, hello, hello. It's Dr. Rowe. I thought I'd put one of my hats on today just to change the look. Now, what's behind me? It's a young person presenting. Now, we're talking about presenting speech. So, this is really about presenting a speech to an audience, and it's a question that does come up. It's like, okay, so I haven't got a meeting I'm going to. It's not like I'm sitting down one to one. I'm actually got to go and present a speech. I had somebody recently say I'm speaking at a wedding, somebody else at a funeral, somebody else was like, okay, well, I'm going to a small conference. How much is small? About 60 people. Good, right? Well, these are some of the things to do. And of course, people get very nervous when it comes to public speaking. So presenting a speech is one of the greatest fears that people have: fear of failure, fear of standing in front of the public and speaking. So let's talk about that. Now, if I click on my button here, you should see something come in from the left, or is it the right? No, it's over there. There it is. Right, okay. Now, this is going to sound obvious. Bear in mind that when I'm teaching people to do this, and we formally do this, of course, it's a very structured approach. So I've only got a short time with you. I'm going to give you these things. I have literally been in front of hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people, maybe millions over the years. In fact, it probably is. I just haven't added a number to it. And I cannot count how many times I've been in front of an audience. So you're listening to someone that's done this many, many times over 35 years. And there's four things that jump out straight away that you can certainly get onto immediately if you're like, right, I want to present a speech. What do I need to do? Number one is prepare. Okay, but what do you mean by that? Well, you need to sit down and actually visualize what the speech is going to look and feel like. What's the intention behind it? How do you want to feel when you come away from that speech? How do you want your audience to feel? Start to go into it, take yourself on a journey into the space of that presentation, that speech you're giving, and actually walk through it in your mind. Because one of the best ways to actually experience something is to first of all internalize it, visualize it, because the body actually doesn't know the difference whether you're there or not. It can actually create the same chemical reactions internally. And as a communicator, we want to get a sense of where might I clam up, where might I get tense, where might I start to feel a bit nervous. All right. So with preparation, this is absolutely essential. Now you might be thinking, oh my gosh, Dr. Rowe, I hadn't really thought about this before. Yes, you've really got to focus on this. And I mean preparation as in sit down and map it out. Is it a formal presentation? Do you need slides? If so, how many slides? What do you want to get across? Which comes to number two, which is your outcome. Okay, so I'm visualizing it. What do I need to do next? Well, what is it? Are you talking at a social event? Are you speaking at a professional event? Is it a funeral, a wedding? Is it, you're presenting on behalf of yourself, your business, your company, or somebody else? Are you being brought as an expert? Is it a guest event? Is it a charity event? And what's the outcome that you want to achieve from that? And that's a really important question to ask. Now, I dive deep into this normally with people because it's somewhere most people completely don't get. They're like, well, I was going to go and talk about a subject. Great. Okay, so the subject you're going to talk about, is it small or big? No, it's a vast subject. And that's why I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed. Okay, well, let's work backwards. When you walk out of there, how do you want to feel? How do you want it to look? And what is the outcome that you want to achieve from it? Do you want to sell them something? Get them to sign up to something? Just want to inform them? Do you want them to come and visit your website? Give money to your business? There's so many different outcomes that it could be. So when you're presenting any speech, always think about the end before you start the whole presentation and start to structure it. That's number two. Number three is what action do you want the person to take or the people to take? So you're going to be speaking to them. Next question is, what do they do next? So you've walked off stage. It's a speech. An hour, 2 hours, whatever it is. It could be many hours. Or you finish the meeting, or you're doing a speech at a meeting, or it's been a board meeting, or whatever it is. What is the next action? Because that's got to be tied to number two. Remember, you've got to imagine 5-10 minutes after the speech, what happens next? It might be, well, I just want to present them and I want them to feel good. Yeah, most people at that point want to know a bit more about you or find something out about what you do. So where could you point them? What's an action you could get them to do? So that's really important as well. Remember, having a clear end goal really keeps us focused on how to get that speech across. And then finally, how do you want to vocalize it? So this is about understanding. So I have a component which is vocal power in my communication system. So within the CWI system, there's 38 components. And one of those components is vocal power. And another component is practicing. So if we practice our vocal power, you can start to vocalize how it feels. You can be done in the shower, it can be done when you're driving, but I want you to start to really internalize and then externalize the feeling of the words. And I do that, even when I'm preparing for something short like this, I might just go through in my mind, what's the message I want to get across? And then off we go. Because remember, the more you go through it, the more you vocalize it, the more you get your body used to it. It's like muscle memory. It'll feel a lot more confident when you actually stand in front of the audience and present and do your speech. Remember, we're speaking in public here. That's what we're talking about on this particular video. Good. So 4 things. Start to get into these and really understand it. And if you start to work on these alone, you'll see improvements in anything you do when it comes to speaking in public. I shall see you on my next post. Dr. Rowe, signing out.